Imagine stealing the most famous painting in the world. You don't use explosives, you don't use a team of acrobatic thieves, you just walk out the front door with it, hidden under your coat. On a quiet Monday in 1911, the Mona Lisa simply vanished from the heavily guarded walls of the Louvre Museum in Paris. The police were completely baffled. They closed the borders, they interrogated the staff. But the real shock came when they arrested their prime suspect, a young, brilliant artist named Pablo Picasso.
Welcome to my study. I've been looking through the international archives, and today we are going to solve the greatest art heist in human history. Let's open the file. To understand this crime, you must first understand a secret. In 1911, the Mona Lisa was not the most famous painting in the world. She was respected by art critics, yes, but ordinary people rarely paid attention to her. She hung in a crowded room in the Louvre, surrounded by much larger, grander paintings. But the Louvre itself was a fortress, or at least it was supposed to be. It was a massive palace with over 1,000 rooms, guarded by a small army of security men. Stealing anything from the Louvre was considered impossible.
Sunday, August 20th, 1911. The museum closes for the evening. Visitors are pushed out into the Paris streets. But one man doesn't leave. He slips quietly into a dark, narrow broom closet used by the maintenance staff. He sits in the dark, listening, waiting. He spends the entire night locked inside the museum. The next morning is Monday. The Louvre is strictly closed to the public for cleaning. This is his moment. The thief steps out of the closet. He is wearing a white smock, the exact same uniform worn by all the maintenance workers in the museum. To anyone walking by, he is just an employee. He walks purposefully into the Salon Carré, the room where Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece hangs. He lifts the heavy 200-pound wooden frame off its 4 iron pegs. He carries it to a hidden service staircase. There, with practiced hands, he removes the wooden panel painted by Da Vinci from its protective glass and frame. He leaves the empty frame on the stairs. He wraps the priceless masterpiece in his white worker's smock, tucks it under his arm, and starts walking toward the exit. There's just one problem. The door at the bottom of the stairs is locked. He has the key, but it won't turn. He is trapped. Panic sets in, but luck is on the side of the thief. A Louvre plumber happens to walk by. The thief calmly complains that someone locked the door from the inside. The friendly plumber, completely unaware that he is aiding the greatest crime of the century, uses his own tools to open the door. The thief nods, says thank you, and walks out into the busy streets of Paris. Just like that, the Mona Lisa is gone. The museum guards didn't even notice she was missing until Tuesday. They assumed the painting had been taken to the official photographer's studio. When they finally realized the truth, Paris exploded into chaos. The borders of France were shut down. Trains and ships were searched. The newspapers went absolutely crazy. Suddenly, because of the mystery of her disappearance, the Mona Lisa was on the front page of every newspaper in the world. People lined up outside the Louvre, thousands of them, just to stare at the empty spot on the wall. The theft made her a global superstar. The French police were desperate. They had no fingerprints, no witnesses. They offered a massive reward. And then, a dark tip came in from the Parisian underground. It pointed to a group of radical, bohemian artists who hated traditional museums. The police raided an apartment and arrested a rising star of the art world. His name was Pablo Picasso. Yes, the creator of Cubism was dragged into court. Why? Because a few years earlier, Picasso had bought some ancient Iberian statues from a shady friend. Statues that, it turned out, had been secretly stolen from the Louvre. The police thought, If he bought stolen statues, maybe he ordered the theft of the Mona Lisa. In the courtroom, terrified of being deported to Spain, Picasso broke down crying. He even pointed at his best friend, the poet Guillaume Apollinaire, and screamed, "I have never seen this man in my life." It was a dramatic, emotional mess. But after days of interrogation, the judge realized these artists were just foolish, not criminal masterminds. Picasso was released. The trail went cold. 2 full years passed. The world accepted that the mysterious smiling lady was lost forever. Autumn, 1913. An art dealer in Florence, Italy, receives a strange letter. The writer claims to have the Mona Lisa and wants to return her to her true homeland, Italy. The letter is signed simply, Leonardo. The dealer, thinking it's a crazy person, agrees to meet him in a hotel room in Florence, bringing the director of the Uffizi Gallery with him. They arrive at the hotel. A small, nervous man opens the door. He pulls out a wooden trunk. He takes out some old shoes, dirty underwear, and finally, a false bottom. Beneath it, wrapped in red silk, is the Mona Lisa. The experts examine the back of the wood. The museum stamps are there. The cracking of the paint is perfect. It is the real masterpiece. The men smile, tell the thief they will go get his money, and immediately call the police. The mastermind was not a brilliant international thief. His name was Vincenzo Peruggia. He was an Italian immigrant living in Paris. In fact, he was the glass fitter who had built the protective glass case for the Mona Lisa in the Louvre. He knew how the frame worked. For 2 years, while the greatest detectives in the world searched the globe, the Mona Lisa was sitting under a stove in Peruggia's tiny, freezing Paris apartment, just blocks away from the museum. His motive? He wasn't hired by a billionaire. He was purely motivated by patriotism. He wrongly believed that Napoleon had stolen the painting from Italy, and he wanted to bring her home. He didn't know that Leonardo da Vinci himself had brought the painting to France and sold it to the French king. Peruggia served only a few months in prison. In Italy, he was hailed as a national hero. The painting was returned to the Louvre, but it was no longer just a painting. The theft, the mystery, and the global hunt had transformed her into an icon. Sometimes, the most audacious crimes don't require genius. They just require a white smock, a broom closet, and a whole lot of nerve. This file is closed, but my archives are full of secrets. If you want to join me for the next investigation, click subscribe, pour yourself a cup of tea, and I'll see you soon. Keep your doors locked.